Game Off winners, GitHub Copilot supports OpenCode. The Copilot SDK is in technical preview, a great OSS app for transcribing your voice, and a pick of the week with style. All that and more on this episode of The Download. Welcome back to another episode of The Download. I'm your host, Christina Warren, Senior Developer Advocate at GitHub, and this is the show where we cover the latest developer news and open source projects. Please like and subscribe. It's 2026. I hope that everyone is having a great year so far. Okay, so let's get into the news because there are some really cool things that I want to talk about this week. I want to give a shout out to all the winners of this year's Game Off, which is an annual game jam hosted by GitHub where developers from around the world create games based on a common theme. And this year that theme was waves, and wow, did we get some incredible entries. This was also our biggest Game Off yet with 725 submissions. Holy cow. I've got a link in the show notes and description with a full list of winners, but here are a few of our highest rated games. So Eva was written in Godot, and this is a moody platformer where light waves, sound waves, and poetic radio transmissions guide you through the ruins of a fallen nation. Bend physics, unlock paths, ignore useless feathers, and slowly realize that this world is listening back. Next is Where the Water Flows, which was also written in Godot. It's a calm and clever isometric puzzle adventure where water levels are the level design. And so you raise or lower the sea level, reveal paths, and think before you move. It's clean, it's chill, and dangerously close to being meditative. And finally, Beacon, which was written in Unity, has a great concept. So you're a slug, you glow, you're lost. And Beacon drops you into a dark, abandoned world where light waves reveal paths, secrets, and missing friends. It's cozy, quiet, and proof that illumination solves most problems, including loneliness. There are loads more games to check out, so head to the link in the show notes down below, and all the source code is available on GitHub for these games too. So thank you to everyone who participated and made waves with us. Next, in some fun CLI news, you can use your GitHub Copilot Pro, Pro Plus, Business, or Enterprise subscription with OpenCode. Now, if you're not familiar, OpenCode is an open source agent that helps you write code in your terminal, IDE, or on the desktop. And although you can bring your own API keys to OpenCode, and you can even use it with local AI models via Ollama, GitHub Copilot users can log in and use their subscription and get access to the models included in their plan. Now, I've got a link in the show notes down below for info on how to get started, but really all you need to do is basically type in /connect and log in with your GitHub credentials. I think this is great. I'm really glad that we have this official partnership because it makes your Copilot subscription that much more versatile and lets you use it in whatever modality you want, whether it's one of our tools or someone else's. I think that's really great. Speaking of terminal-based tools, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the big updates that have made their way into the GitHub Copilot CLI, including a new Copilot SDK that is in technical preview and that works with the CLI. So first about the SDK, and I've got links to this in the show notes in the description. We have an SDK. It's available in Node, TypeScript, Python, Go, and .NET, and you can use this SDK for multi-turn conversations, tool execution, and full lifecycle control. Now, this is in technical preview, but already we're seeing people build some really fun stuff with it. Beyond that, there are some great new features that have been added to the GitHub Copilot CLI in the last few weeks, including access to more models, built-in custom agents for things like explore, task, plan, code review, and then you can use those custom agents with agent skills to have a really robust workflow. You can also install the CLI now via Homebrew, Wingit, and there are install scripts. And if you install any of these methods, then Copilot CLI will automatically update, which is great. But don't worry, we still have standalone releases if you're needing that because of your distribution or however you want to get things. There are a bunch of new flags for using the Copilot CLI in scripts. There are improvements to the diff view, there's some web controls, there's lots and lots of stuff. So if you have not had a chance to play around with the GitHub Copilot CLI, give it a shot, especially now with the SDK. It's getting really good, and the team is working really hard on adding stuff to it all the time. We are also actively seeking out your feedback, so if you have any thoughts, any wish list items, feedback, let us know. You can let us know in the comments of this YouTube video. Let us know, on social media. Create an issue or post a discussion in the repo. Cloudflare has acquired the Astro technology company, and those are the people behind the popular Astro web framework. Now, we've actually talked about Astro on this show before, and it's actually one of my favorite frameworks for building. They call it content-focused websites. I just call that a website. Version 6 is in beta now, and it looks really, really good. And so the TLDR on this acquisition is that Astro will continue to be open source under the MIT license and actively maintained, and Astro will continue to support a lot of deployment targets, not just Cloudflare. And Astro says that its open governance and current roadmap will remain in place. Now, I know that people can get nervous about these kinds of acquisitions, and that's totally fair, but Cloudflare actually has a pretty good history with things like this, and so I'm honestly just happy to see that Astro has a sustainable path forward. As we've seen with projects like Tailwind CSS, popularity enough does not pay the bills, and so I would much rather there be a sustainable path forward and Astro to continue to have development than some other alternative. These things are never guaranteed. The web is littered with frameworks that, were once loved and have lost their luster or been abandoned. But right now, I think that this is a really good outcome for Astro and for the community. And I've got links to Astro and Cloudflare's blog posts in the show notes below. And now it is time for our GitHub Project Spotlight, and this is where we highlight a great open source project on github.com. And this week my pick is Handy. I actually found out about this because of Kadesha, so shout out Kadesha, thank you for this. And Handy is a really cool open source speech-to-text app for Mac, Windows, and Linux. And there are actually a lot of these sorts of transcription speech-to-text apps out there that use a local speech-to-text AI model under the hood. But what I like about Handy is that it's fast and it's easy to use. So basically, you can open up any text field in any app or on a website, you press and hold a hotkey to enable Handy, you dictate what you want, you release the hotkey, and then you can see the text that you've spoken entered into your text field. You can choose between a bunch of different models, including variations from Whisper and Parakeet, or you can bring your own. And I really like that the devs said that Handy isn't trying to be the best speech-to-text app, it's trying to be the most forkable one. I think that's a great ethos. It's a great app. So I've got a link in the show notes down below to handy.computer, which is the great website, as well as the GitHub repo, and great stuff. And now it is time for my pick of the week, which I admit I am doing this a bit early because I haven't heard the song yet. And by the time you're watching this, Harry Styles' new single, Aperture, from his upcoming album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, will be out. So the album's going to be out in March, but the single is out now, like as you're watching this. And again, I'm doing this early, so this could be a disaster. If so, please be sure to roast me and I will admit defeat in a couple of weeks. But 2025 was like a truly abysmal year for pop music, so I'm counting on Harry Styles to come through and deliver the goods, because if he doesn't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So fingers and toes crossed. I have hope. That's going to do it for me. If you like this episode, please give us a like to help out the algorithm. Leave us a comment about what you're looking forward to coding or listening to in 2026, and give us your thoughts on any of the other stories that we talked about this week. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe to the GitHub YouTube channel for all your nerd needs. And stream Aperture. See you next time.